Good evening and welcome to Greater Somerville for March 20th, 2012. I'm Joe Lynch. My guest tonight is Don Morrissey, co-director of the critically acclaimed Irish Film Festival. Started in 1999, this film festival is now the largest of its kind outside of Ireland. She is a native of Kildare, Ireland, and Dawn has been with the festival since 2004. It is my pleasure to welcome to Greater Somerville Don Morrissey, co-director of the Boston Irish Film Festival in its 13th year. And if you notice the man who's sitting to Don's left, it is my pleasure to also welcome onto the set the Irishman's Irishman, Jack Connolly, Alderman at Large, City of Somerville.
Joseph, good evening.
John Michael.
Indeed it is.
Nice to see you.
A pleasure, sir, a pleasure.
Don, thank you so much. You have been one busy promoter this week, St. Patrick's Day week.
Yes, we have. We've been pretty busy.
Yeah, terrific. 13 years.
13 years, and I've got the lines to show it.
But it's terrific. We watched some of the film clips on your appearance. You appeared on Chronicle recently.
Yes, we appeared on Chronicle last Friday.
And it piqued a lot of people's interest.
Piqued a lot of people's interest. We're so lucky this year to be able to afford to actually have someone who could get us on Chronicle.
Excellent.
Doesn't often happen.
Excellent. But now you've graduated from Chronicle to Greater Somerville.
Even better.
There you go. There you go. We're going to talk a little bit about the festival in a little bit, but Kildare, do you miss it?
Kildare, I miss it every day. I go home at least three times a year.
Terrific.
If I can.
Yeah?
Yeah. I was home in February and the weather was like this, so it was a bit odd.
And I met your great son, Finn.
Yes.
Finn is out in the lobby. Say hello to Finn.
Hi, Finn. Behave yourself.
Finn's watching us live as we speak, but thank you so much. Busy schedule. Let me see. This past weekend, Jack, St. Patrick's Day weekend.
Indeed.
Race for Ireland. St. Patrick's Day parade in South Boston. And now Somerville has the pleasure of finishing that up with the 13th Irish Film Festival.
And Joe, let me tell you that from the buzz I've got from people who are looking forward to continuing the week long, talked to a lot of people. Many people have seen Dawn's appearance on Chronicle and are looking this as an opportunity to have a second weekend here in the Ville after running hard and partying hard last weekend. This will be a chance to come back, sit back, enjoy the films, and enjoy our hospitality. As you can see, we've got everything lined up. We've spent a lot of time. Dawn and her team have just been outstanding working with all of us to help make this go, and I took a personal interest last year to see if we could just get a little extra push here in town, working with you and the other folks, and I think we've got things really ready to go. I'm looking to have a real slamming weekend this weekend.
It's a terrific way to, bring to Somerville and bring to the local area. I mean, you know and I know, Jack, being an Irishman, who third, fourth, fifth generation being here, this is as Irish as you can get. With a lot of the folks that we know personally. We know, our good friend from The Independent, or our good friend from Data for Donkeys. I mean, all of these folks have their roots right here in Somerville, Jack.
And Joe, I'm second generation. My grandfather was a Galway man, and that my grandmother was just from the same village. And as a result, it's very satisfying to be able to say, gee, I'm making the connection as an Irish American, a person who still has roots and still get cousins and family. I want very much to see if we can help solidify the relationship, and with any good luck, we're going to be twinning up with an Irish city. The mayor has chatted me for the past year that I've lacked the opportunity to do it, and I said we're going to select a place to do so. I've already been to Italy with him, so he's coming to Ireland with us.
Well, here are your selections, Jack. I already spoke to Dawn before the show, and you know what I asked her. So here are the selections for the sister city for Somerville. Either Galway, Kilfenora, Tralee, Roscommon, or Youghal.
We will take those under advisement.
Don knows exactly why I'm saying it. That's where the Lynches and the Ryans came from. So, Somerville Theatre, beginning Friday night.
Yes.
Here in Somerville.
Yes.
You've got 30 films over the 4 days, but you're actually kicking off Thursday night at the Brattle in Cambridge.
Yes, we're giving Cambridge one last try.
We'll give them a try. Give them a try. Why not?
We're actually going to make our home in Somerville as of next year, but with scheduling, we couldn't do it on Thursday night at Somerville, so we decided we'd do Thursday opening night in Brattle, and then we moved to Somerville all weekend, where we have between 3 and 4 houses in the theatre, in the Somerville Theatre running.
Terrific.
which is great.
And I hear you sold out already on one of the showings for Friday.
We sold out, yes. We had the Chronicle, I think they gave us a bump, but also it's just the fact that, a lot of people last weekend at the Ross na HÉireann, the race for Ireland, saw our sheep running, saw our postcards, saw our posters. And so, in between the Celtic ale that they were drinking, kind of absorbed a little bit of the fact that we were around, so that they're...
Now, I know a lot of our viewers have been to Ireland or they've seen pictures. Clover is my favorite branding of any festival that's ever been in Somerville. Clover's right behind us. I don't know if you can catch her, but she's up on a poster behind us, and it's a sheep. And the way that they cut into her wool is brilliant. Mm-hmm. It's a piece of film.
Yes.
So you would have to look for it. Go on to the website before I forget.
Yeah, www.irishfilmfestival.com.
Yep.
So you know.
But Clover is the brand that they are using this year.
And we were very lucky to actually get branded by a local company called Taut Branding, who have in the past branded Abercrombie and Finch.
Terrific.
And they came on board a couple of years ago.
Boston-based, Somerville-based?
Actually, Cambridge.
Cambridge-based.
Zach Taut is actually on our board. His father is Mike Taut, has been great. He got his team together a couple of years ago, set us down and said, okay, what color would you be if you were a car? And then all of that
If you were a tree, what would you be?
And from that, we got Clover. And actually, Clover is a real sheep. She actually lives out in Western Mass. And on the trailer that prior to all the films, and you'll have to come see it this weekend, you will see Clover and her brood have their screen appearance because it's a little promo for the festival. So
Love
you'll
it.
actually see her.
And many of her relatives are appearing in Behold the Lamb.
Yes, they are. There are sheep going to be in Somerville on the lamb.
We're not going to talk about sheep the entire show, folks, but I do have a question for you. And before we get into the films, there was something that hit me strange. Mm-hmm. When I watched the trailer for Behold the Lamb, none of those sheep had colored markings on them.
Yes.
Did you notice that?
Well, not all of them need to.
So tell me why. I've been to Ireland and I know why, but tell the folks at home why in Ireland you see colored markings on their hindquarters.
Well, a lot of the time it's because if you have farms that abut each other and don't have a lot of fencing or walls, you're going to have the colours on them to see whose sheep they are. Mm-hmm. And more than likely, in the shot that you're probably going to show the sheep section, you're going to see that a lot of the actual field was fenced in. So it's most likely that it was just a farm that didn't abut another farm. So they didn't need to use...
He didn't need to spray paint the sheep.
Spray paint the sheep.
We have sponsors for the film festival this year.
We do.
You have many, many sponsors.
Well, we do, but there's one in particular that I really want to actually thank, and the Alderman knows him well. His name is Paul Collier, and it's BA Events, Ross na HÉireann, and Paul has actually been very generous this year and got behind the film festival, and only for him and Jack we wouldn't have a festival. Paul does a lot of great work for the 5Ks all over Massachusetts and has really stepped up between promoting the festival on his website to over 50,000 people and also giving us a nice generous donation which helped. We are a non-profit, so if there's any companies next year who want to invest or this year who still want to invest in the film festival.
Well, we have a viewership of millions.
Of course you do. No, you just have all the people with money in Somerville. So he's definitely the big sponsor. But then of course there's all the bars, because again the bars are really important for the festival because it's a community, it's a village. For the whole weekend you're going to see people going from the Burren over to the Somerville Theatre, coming back to the Foundry, going up to Orleans. So we definitely have that feel of an Irish village where you hit more than one pub on a night.
And for some of the outlying pubs, they also, I hear they're going to be having shuttles back and forth.
So we actually have a special night on Saturday night. We're actually having a sports night for the lads or the ladies. And it's actually an Oscar-nominated film called Pentecost, which is about soccer. And then the main feature is In Sunshine or in Shadows, which is about Barry McGuigan, the famous Irish boxer.
The boxer.
And so Old Magoons are actually going to have a pig roast for us after the screening.
Now let me see. Where is Old Magoons again?
It's up.
That wouldn't be in Magoon Square, would it?
Up the road, take a left.
They're
actually going to run buses from the theatre and help to pay for a couple of meters around the pub as well. And
A couple of meters, Don. Listen, great. Anybody who knows me knows I come from the Magoon Square area, so definitely hit Old Magoon's Saturday night.
At 7:30.
Saturday night, 7:30. Greg Coughlin, who has his first Holy Communion money, he's going to be feeding the meters for anybody who you have to show proof of purchase that you went to the festival.
Yeah, of course.
Right.
Well, I mean, we'll believe you. And there's some great Celtic ale. I think Harpoon is going. We're going to be
Harpoon Celtic Ale. Yeah, up at Old Magoon's on Saturday night.
So you should definitely come by. You know, if you don't get into the film, you can always come to another screening, and I'm sure we'll find you a pint.
What is it about, for those of us who are Irish descent, Jack pretends that he's full Irish, but I know there's some English blood in there somewhere. So what is it about for us Irish Americans who just, when we go over to Ireland, why do we fall in love with the country?
Why wouldn't you? I mean, come on. We have the best sense of humor. We have great.
That's true.
We have great pints of Guinness.
That's true.
We have great artists.
That's true.
Writers.
True.
Filmmakers. We had two Oscar-nominated shorts this year.
Yep.
One which won.
Yep.
For a country of 4.5 million people.
And it's only 6 hours.
Yes.
That's the way I look at it.
And with a good
only 6
tailwind,
hours
it's
away.
4.5. I've done it in 4.5.
And Don, don't forget that Ireland's produced a couple of folks who can not only write, but they can perform. We had a couple of young lads, a group called U2 that appeared at the Somerville Theatre just a couple of years ago, and those boys have done well for themselves. And there's a writer named Van Morrison who I think has done well for himself as well. So the country's done quite a bit. We
export a lot of our talent.
Indeed, it is here, and they've enjoyed themselves here as well.
Speaking of exports, we're going to talk a little bit about the films here, but I did want to ask you a question. I heard a rumor, and it's probably only a rumor, that one of my favorite Irish actors, Stephen
Rea, is arriving tomorrow.
There you go. There you go.
He's arriving tomorrow. He's going to be in the Ville on Friday, but he's coming to Cambridge on Thursday night. So yes, he will be here.
Terrific.
He will be here and actually the other person who we have coming, I don't know if you know, is Henry Healy, who is President Obama's Irish cousin.
That's the cousin.
He's the cousin who actually initiated and found out that Obama had relatives in Ireland and got him to come to the village of Moneygall during the official visit from President Obama last year. And the documentary is about pre-Obama presidency, the whole way up to when he comes to visit.
Yeah.
So Henry's actually coming into town as well, and he'll be in Somerville.
That's terrific. The reason I asked you the question about Stephen Rea was because one of my favorite, now I know it's a little warped film, and it's not for everybody's taste, but I loved the film when I first watched it, was called The Butcher Boy.
Oh, yes.
The Butcher Boy. Now, when that was first shown in my house, and when Sinead O'Connor appeared as the Blessed Virgin Mary in the vision, that was the end of it for my mother. She said, "Shut it off."
Well, that film actually is probably one of the films that was the turning point for our film industry.
Yep.
Neil Jordan, if I'm correct, I think it's almost certainly it was Neil Jordan who directed it. It was definitely
Neil Jordan.
It was one of the films that really started the trend towards contemporary film. And that's, I think, what has really influenced a lot of filmmaking through the years since that. And of course, it is kind of warped and twisted, but it's a good story.
We all have a Mrs. Nugent in our family, though.
We do.
You have to see that movie. If you ever get a chance, see that movie. But some of the more contemporary movies, let's talk about 3 of them. Stellar Days with Martin Sheen.
And Stephen Rea.
And The Shore.
The Shore, yes.
And Behold the Lamb.
Okay, so Stella Days is getting its U.S. premiere. It's actually been picked up by Tribeca as
Tribeca Film Fest,
which is not the film fest, the distributor. So they're actually going to distribute it throughout the United States. So this is a really big chance for people to see it before it goes into the theatre. It is a story about a priest who has been pushed out of his Vatican position,
played by
Martin Sheen, and sent to a small village in Ireland where he is very lonely, and his only love is, other than the church, is cinema. and his archbishop decides that maybe they should have a new church and he needs to do a fundraiser. Well, he kind of manages to have a theatre, a little Stella, built in the village, which at the time, you know, was not the best.
Time period is late 50s, early 60s.
Where,
yeah.
you know, you've got the hell and damnation if you're looking at that filth on that screen. And so he has to walk a fine line.
Unless, of course, it was John Wayne and Maureen O'Hara.
Oh, absolutely.
Then it was fine.
That's a great segue. We'll talk about that in a bit. So yes, so it's a great film. It's got a little bit of drama to it. It's not just about the priest. There are a couple of backstories, and he is an amazing man. Martin Sheen is definitely amazing.
Irish
and
roots.
Stephen,
Irish and Mexican
oh
roots.
yes,
Yep.
oh yes. And Stephen Rea plays a villain in this, and it is a great role for him.
Great. On to
He's actually a local politician.
How about that? How about The Shore?
So The Shore is directed by Terry George, who actually was the director of Hotel Rwanda.
Mm-hmm.
And his daughter Orla is the producer. So it's a father-daughter story and a father-daughter production. The Shore is about an Irishman who lives in San Francisco, hasn't been back to the north of Ireland for 25 years, brings his daughter back, and she finds out a secret about her dad. And I'm not going to tell you anymore. It won the Oscar, so you're just going to have to come.
Then we're not going to let you off camera until you give us the end of it. But there's the teaser, and that is the reason why you need to go to irishfilmfestival.com.
Yes.
Find out, read the synopsis. You have some synopsis on the
yes,
schedule
and
there.
trailers. And trailers.
And trailers.
Mm-hmm.
You can watch the trailers for these movies that are going to be at the Somerville Theatre this weekend. Ticket cost?
At the actual theatre, $7 and $9, depending if you're a senior or student, and online they're $10 because those pesky fees.
The pesky fees.
Mm-hmm.
The pesky fees. So let's move on to Behold the Lamb.
Yes. So
Clover's relatives are appearing in
Clover's
this.
relatives. So as well as The Shore, which plays on Friday night, Behold the Lamb is actually the feature. It's actually getting its US premiere. And this is a spotlight in Northern Ireland. So The Shore is shot in Northern Ireland, and so is Behold the Lamb. It's actually a black comedy / road movie. And it's about an accountant and a wayward young girl who have to find and bring this lamb back to the city because the accountant's son is in a little bit of trouble. And this lamb contains something very important.
And you're not going to tell
Not
us
going to tell
that.
you what it is either. You have to come to the Somerville Theatre on Friday night to find out.
There is a terrific marketeer right there. They give you the teaser, and then they say, but you've got to buy a ticket, and you've got to come into the theater.
Support the nonprofit.
But I did make reference. You know, speaking of which, we want to add, Jack was telling me before the show, we want to add that a lot of you folks are doing all of this pro bono. It's
Volunteers.
all volunteers.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep, volunteer.
Peter, is it Peter Flynn?
Yes.
Peter Flynn actually, when he started this, it was just kind of like a lark kind of
Yeah,
thing.
Peter thought it was teaching and still is at Emerson College, and he's a film scholar. He's now a PhD. He actually got his PhD out in UMass Amherst. And Peter decided to start with another Emerson prof, a screening series, an Irish screening series. And so they started this series, and it just blossomed and grew. And I think it was around the time that Irish cinema was really starting to take off. And you had the young guns coming in and making In the Name of the Father. You know, Jim Sheridan was getting so it was certainly starting off as a film series. They actually screened at the Harvard Film Archive, and then it just grew from there. And he was actually my teacher at Emerson, hence why I got on board.
You know, with John Michael Connolly and Joseph Patrick Lynch, and we can tell you the names of the other Irishmen and the political flavor here in Somerville, why did it take you so long to hit Somerville with all of this?
So we actually were screening over at Harvard Film Archive and the Brattle because Peter had started at the Harvard Film Archive.
Gotcha.
And so I had gone to the Independent Film Festival several times in Somerville and fell in love with the theatre. And so
Ian Judge and that theater are just jewels.
And Dave Kornfeld is great. Dave is a great projectionist. He works so well. We wear the man out all weekend because he has to do so much work. But so we decided I decided when I became co-director, because I produced for years, and Peter's actually slightly emeritus now because he's making films, so he's on the production side where I'm on the festival side. So we decided to move everything to Somerville. Other than
We're
opening.
glad you did.
Yeah, we are too, and we hope to be able to be here 100% next year.
We have an Oscar winner film, Pentecost,
Pentecost is an Oscar-nominated film.
nominated.
The Shore is the Oscar-winning film.
So I have this right.
Yeah.
Oscar winner, The Shore. Oscar nominated, The Pentecost.
Yes, Pentecost is the sports night, Saturday night. That's the soccer film about the young fellow who has
Indeed.
to decide if he has to serve mass or go play soccer, and he's up against it.
What an easy
we
call.
seem to have this whole Valley Kiss Angel theme running through everything. It's got priests, it's got mass, it's got booze, it's got sheep.
You know, it's just whatever is going on the year that we go and start to curate the festival.
That's right.
But
That's
there is
right.
something special on Sunday. Well, actually, there's a couple of other things, if you don't mind, I actually want to
Sure.
talk about. We actually have kids program this weekend, which is free. Saturday and Sunday we have some animation films for the kids. Probably runs about half an hour, but it runs continuously all day. So if you want to come in and bring the kids in for half an hour and pop in and see another film yourself.
That's terrific.
you can.
And again, that's free.
That's free.
Free for the kids.
It's free for the kids
Yeah.
and the parents if they want to sit in with them. And we also have several documentaries and another feature on Saturday. We have two other features that I would definitely recommend, and one is Ballymun Lullaby, which is about a chorus of kids in Ireland, and the music is absolutely fantastic, and the story of how they got this choir together is pretty amazing. The Road to Monagal I've already talked about. And Sunday we have Irish language. We have an Irish language feature, and we also have a couple of documentaries about the North, and we also have a comedy, a film with me in it in the afternoon as well. And then the finale is, of course,
That was the segue before I jumped the gun because I was so excited that it was Mom and Dad's favorite film.
yes.
Yeah.
So this is the 60th year that the very famous film that was shot in Ireland, The Quiet Man. And a documentary that previewed in MoMA in November called Dreaming the Quiet Man. And that is about the making of the film. And Maureen O'Hara is interviewed, and she tends to talk a little bit more about the background and how the film was made and her experiences. So we decided that we would try to get the archival print of The Quiet Man.
And who owns it?
UCLA.
UCLA has it.
And
yeah.
Paramount have the rights. So we had to go through Paramount and UCLA. And Dave Kornfeld is going to be wearing white gloves on Sunday when he is putting that
Sure.
on
The film onto the projector.
the big
yeah.
screen in
Yeah.
Somerville Theatre. We're going to be in the big house, so we have lots of space for all the Somerville people to want to
Let's
come
test
and see
Jack, shall we?
it. Excuse me.
The priest in A Quiet Man was
God.
played by.
Now you're going to catch me on that one, Joe. You're going to catch me. I've seen it 15 times. And
All right, we'll let you go to Redemption Round. Redemption Round. Another famous Irish actor was in that film. Name him. Older.
John Huston.
Irish actor. He was American. He was Irish American. Come on, Jack.
Oh, boy.
Taskmaster.
Jeez, no, it's a tough one here. You threw
The
me
Bells
off.
of St. Mary. I'll give you a
O'Brien.
clue. No.
Oh, not Pat O'Brien, huh? Now you're catching me on that one. I
All
think
right.
I'm where I'm
Now watch
promoted
me
to
be
go.
wrong on this. Wasn't Barry Fitzgerald?
Yes.
Barry
Okay,
Fitzgerald.
now you're right.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So, and also we
One
have
for Joseph Patrick.
Okay.
we have a special. We actually have something special on Sunday that nobody knows about, but we're going to share with Somerville.
Breaking news, Greater
Breaking
Somerville.
news. Maureen O'Hara has actually recorded a special message
Beautiful.
for the presentation on Sunday, and the presentation was made possible by the generous donation of the Irish Film and Television Academy and the John Ford Foundation. So it is big, and we'd love if we could get a lot of people into that space on Sunday. The screening is at, as far as I remember, it's at 2:30 for The Quiet Man, and then
You're correct,
And
2:30,
then
yep.
the documentary is afterward at 5,
At
so you
5.
get a little breathing space, and then after that we go to the Burren for pints and
After party at the Burn.
Ceol agus Dausa.
So let me see if I have this right. Friday night, Somerville Theatre. We have a 7:30 showing of Behold the Lamb.
Yes.
And The Shore.
Yes.
And then moving right into Saturday, a full boat
Yes.
of Irish shorts And
I just want to add that we're putting a second screening of Stella Days on Saturday.
second screening. So when you go onto the website of,
www.irishfilmfestival.com.
yep, it will say first showing sold out.
Second showing in
Added the
Somerville at
second
8
showing.
o'clock on Saturday evening.
Great. So that's on Saturday, and then we have Hot Press, The Right Stuff,
Yes.
and we have Ballymun
Ballymun
Lullaby, A Film with Me, The Road to Monegal, A Sunshine.
In
Or
Sunshine
in
or in
Sunshine
Shadow?
or in Shadow, Pentecost. And then on Sunday, New Irish Shorts Program, Bernadette,
Yes.
Notes on a Political Journey, Quiet Man, and the documentary,
Yes. And the
The
shorts.
Making of the Quiet
And
Man.
we're running shorts Saturday and Sunday.
All right.
And that's a really good taste of Irish cinema. It's very much, you get the full gauntlet because you've got everything from documentaries to fiction to animation.
And now here's a test for you.
Nice.
In Gaelic, I
Yes.
love Somerville.
Oh, it's Lumsa Somerville.
There you go. Jack, you're a great supporter.
Well, we have something to support, and when you have a team like this to work with, Joseph, it's easy to do. And I think our Irish roots being what they are, we want very much to make sure that we show off something that Irish people do very well. Not only are they poets, lovers, but they're wonderful filmmakers, and they're great hosts, as we'll see in Somerville and Davis Square particularly. We've got a lot of those Irishmen. You mentioned Ken Kelly, Dave. We've got a number of people. Tommy and Louise at the Burn are going to be hosting all afternoon. People come in and enjoy themselves in the square. Parking is ample. Don't let people tell you can't park around Davis Square. It's only a quarter for 15 minutes. We've got machines now that do all these wonderful things, so it's not a big inconvenience. We'll be looking around to make sure that those meter maids get lost real quickly, too, for a good bit of the afternoon.
And they're not in effect on Sunday.
And
No,
not in effect,
not
it's
in
free
effect.
parking. Just don't park in front of a fire hydrant or driveway.
And if you happen to be going to the after parties, thank once again some of the sponsors: the Burn, Old Magoon Saloon. If you're
Orleans.
going Orleans, if you're going up to Magoon
PJ
Square,
Ryan's.
PJ Ryan's, a lot of the bars in town. Thank them for becoming one of the sponsors for the 13th annual Irish Film
And
Festival.
Joe, I'm going to give a big shout out to Mr. Paul Collier for his wonderful support for many, many years for a number of the pubs and for being involved here with the festival. Don, he and I sat down and we just literally just laid it out, and Paul was on board right away, and I'm looking forward to seeing him working with us for years to come. We've got one of the showcase weekends now, 2 weekends in a row between the Ross on usually St. Patrick's Day week and following up at the film festival. Next year it'll all be in Somerville. We've got some pals up at Tufts who have a wonderful 500-seat theater that they talk to the right people, they'll be made available, so we're looking forward to having everything here in
And
Somerville
the
next
arts,
year.
and also the
The Arts at the Armory, we're very
We're
familiar with
also gonna move in
Joseph.
there,
We'll
too.
have some work going on up there, so everything will be in the city. We're looking forward to being the showcase for the best Irish Film Festival. Bar none.
In the truest sense, I want to thank my guest tonight, Don Morrissey, Alderman Jack Connolly. As always, stay safe, stay informed. See you at the film festival this weekend, Davis Square Theater. Good night.